Hello student, this is Biology Form 4, Chapter 13, new chapter, Homeostasis and the Human Urinary System. So subtopic 13.1, Homeostasis. This is the regulations of physical and chemical factors of the internal environment within normal ranges for the cell to function in optimum condition. So remember, homeostasis is regulations or monitoring the physical and chemical factors in our internal environment, meaning dalam badan kita, okay? So that dia punya range adalah within normal, so that the cell can function in optimum condition. Okay, so ada dua factors, physical and chemical factors of our internal environment. So physical factors includes temperature, osmotic blood pressure, and also blood pressure. Okay, and chemicals need to be regulated are pH value, the concentrations of minerals, and blood sugar concentration. So any deviation from the normal range triggers the homeostatic mechanism, which involve negative feedback. Okay, maksudnya sekiranya value dia itu ataupun keadaan dia itu adalah lari daripada normal, okay, deviation from the normal, itu akan menyebabkan homeostatic mechanism. Dan homeostatic mechanism ini akan involve negative feedback. What is negative feedback? Itu adalah keadaan di mana dia akan membawa kepada keadaan normal. Okay? So homeostasis regulates the internal environment in order for it to be in a constant state, although the external environment changes a lot. So this will ensures that the cell activity continues to function at optimum level. So this figure 13.1 shows negative feedback mechanisms of homeostasis. So di sini, this is normal range. Normal range if value increases, okay? So apa yang berlaku adalah regulatory system akan bertindak, kemudian the value will decrease again back to normal. So ini yang kita panggil negative feedback. Dia membawa kepada yang normal balik. Okay? Begitu juga, this is the normal range if the value decreases. So regulatory system akan bertindak supaya value itu increase back to normal range. Okay? So in homeostasis, the factor that exceed the normal range is brought down to normal range, and factor that falls below the normal range is increased to the normal range. Itu yang kita panggil sebagai negative feedback. We bring to the normal situation. Okay? So organ system involved in maintaining an optimal internal environment. So kita ada banyak organ system. Setiap organ kita ini akan interact with each other to maintain the optimum internal environment. For example, body temperature regulated by integumentary system, okay, the skin and the sweat glands. Also nervous system, the circulatory system, and muscle system, endocrine system also. So dia bekerjasama. Dia bekerjasama, satu sistem organ bekerjasama satu sama lain supaya kita punya internal environment can function in optimum. Okay? Kemudian yang kedua, blood sugar levels regulated by endocrine gland, circulatory system, digestive system. Partial pressure of carbon dioxide in our blood regulated by the respiratory system, circulatory system, and also the nervous system. And our blood pressure regulated by circulatory system and nervous system. Okay, so we go to the first one, regulating body temperature. Okay, so maintaining the body temperature at a fixed range is very important so that the cell metabolism reactions that are catalyzed by enzyme occur at optimum level. So kita tahu bahawa enzim itu yang catalyzing satu cell metabolic reaction, dia ada optimum temperature. Kalau dia terlalu tinggi, dia akan denature. Okay, tapi kalau temperature itu too low, it will slow down the metabolic activity of the cell. So sebab itu sangat penting to maintain the body temperature at optimum level. Okay, so when the body temperature changes in our body, it will be detected by receptor yang kita panggil thermoreceptor in the skin and also hypothalamus. Our body temperature rises above normal. It will be detected by receptor, yaitu thermoreceptor in hypothalamus and also thermoreceptor in the skin. Okay, so yang terlibat sama adalah hypothalamus. This is the temperature control center and also the pituitary gland. So body temperature dia boleh lower than normal ataupun higher than normal. When higher than normal, dia akan bring back to normal. Kalau lower than normal, dia akan increase to normal. Okay, so this one, figure 13.2, this is body temperature regulation when temperature increases from normal. Okay, so this is regulation through physical methods. Okay, apa yang terjadi? Erector muscles di sini are less stimulated, so they do not constrict, and the fine hair will lower towards the skin surface. Okay, so as a result, a thin layer of air is trapped between the fine hair. Heat can be released quickly. So bila temperature tinggi daripada normal, ini yang akan terjadi. Okay, so fine hair lowers towards the skin surface. Okay, sebab erector muscle less stimulated. So di sini heat can be released quickly. Okay, so di sini erector muscle dia relax lah. Okay, kemudian the skeletal muscle di sini, skeletal muscle contract and relax less. Okay, less. So the body does not shiver. Okay. Kemudian di sini arteriole in the skin dilate. Vasodilation dilate. Okay. Dilate maksudnya melebar. To allow more blood to flow to the skin surface. So more heat will be lost to the external environment through radiation di sini. Okay. So ingat vasodilation. Kemudian sweat glands are stimulated to produce more sweat. Okay. Supaya kita berpeluh. Okay. That's why bila kita panas, the temperature of our body increase. Kalau kita berpeluh, dia punya suhu, kita punya suhu badan itu akan turun. Okay. So di sini apa yang jadi adalah the sweat glands stimulated to produce more sweat. So heat will be absorbed to evaporate sweat, and this cools the skin. So ini physical method. How about chemical method? Chemical method, the adrenal glands, remember this is our kidney. So di sini ada adrenal gland, are less stimulated to secrete adrenaline. So kita punya metabolic rate juga decreases. And our thyroid gland is not stimulated, and the secretions of thyroxine also reduce. So metabolic rate decreases. No excess heat is generated. So ini cara untuk mengawal ataupun bring back the high body temperature to normal temperature. Okay, yang ini pula apabila our body temperature drops below normal ranges. So sama juga detected by thermoreceptor in the skin and also in the hypothalamus. Okay, so what happened di sini dia terbalik daripada yang tadi. Okay, sebab ini kita punya body temperature drops below normal. So erector muscles are stimulated. So they will contract. Okay, here the erector muscle contract, so causing the fine hairs raise. A thick layer of air trapped between the fine hairs act as an insulator that prevent the loss of heat from our skin. Okay, kemudian skeletal muscle contract and relax so that body will shiver. This generates heat, which in turn raises the body temperature because the constrictions of muscle require energy. So di sini kita punya body temperature akan increase. And then here arterioles in the skin are stimulated to constrict. Okay, kalau sebelum ini itu adalah dilate, ini constrict. Vasoconstriction maksudnya opposite from melebar. Okay, narrowing lah. Vasoconstriction maksudnya the constrictions of the arteriole. So the result is less blood flow to the surface of the skin. So with that, less heat is lost to the external environment through radiation. So kita punya body temperature itu dia tidak semakin low lah. Okay, and then the sweat gland is not stimulated. Sweating does not happen when our body temperature below normal. So yang ini adalah physical method. How about chemical methods? Adrenal gland stimulated. So di sini dia stimulated, so more adrenaline will be secreted. So this adrenaline hormone will speed up the conversions of glycogen to glucose. So our metabolic rate will increase, the oxidations of glucose will release heat, to warm our body. While the thyroid gland also stimulated to secrete more thyroxine hormone, which will increase the metabolic rate also. So more heat is generated for the body. So itu cara untuk temperature. So how about regulations of blood sugar levels? Okay, so our pancreas is responsible for maintaining the blood sugar levels within the normal range. So dalam pancreas itu ada Langerhans cells in the pancreas. Dia akan produce and secrete insulin and glucose continuously into the bloodstream to regulate the blood sugar level. The actions of both these hormones and the mechanisms of homeostasis work together to maintain the blood sugar level within the normal range. Okay, so di sini blood sugar level increase after meal. Selepas kita makan, our blood sugar level will increase. So what happened? The beta cell in the pancreatic Langerhans cells are stimulated to secrete insulin into the blood. Okay, so apa insulin itu buat? The insulin will stimulate the muscle cells to use the glucose in the process of cell respiration. And insulin also stimulate the conversions of excess glucose into glycogen to be stored in the liver and muscle cells. So in adipose cells, insulin convert excess glucose to fat. So ini akan bring the negative feedback, iaitu the blood sugar levels go back to normal. Okay. Bagaimana pula kalau blood sugar level drops? Ini adalah in between meals lah kan. So ini apa yang bertindak adalah the alpha cell. Kalau tadi itu beta cell, di sini alpha cell in the pancreatic Langerhans cells are stimulated to secrete glucagon. Okay, glucagon, bukan insulin, glucagon into the blood. So the glucagon will stimulate a liver to convert the glycogen to glucose. So glucagon also promotes the breakdown of fat to release fatty acid that can be used to produce energy. So failure in the production, secretion and intake of insulin by target cell can cause diabetes mellitus. So sebelum ini kita sudah belajar diabetes mellitus. Okay, the blood sugar level of diabetic patient is usually high and unstable after a meal. So the patient also feels thirsty, tired, fatigue and suffer weight loss. Diabetes mellitus can be controlled through insulin injection and also pills that help lower down the blood sugar level and also proper diet. The next one, regulations of partial pressure of carbon dioxide in the blood. So breathing is an involuntary action. Okay, remember what is involuntary action? Okay, yang berlaku tanpa kita perlu sedar. This is regulated by the respiratory control center in the medulla oblongata. The respiratory control center helps maintain homeostasis by controlling the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in the blood. So this is the process of regulating the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in the blood. So di sini first, during vigorous activity, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide increases because of cell respiration. So ingat, kalau vigorous activity, of course kita perlu lebih energy. Okay, so lebih energy, cell respiration increase, so carbon dioxide production also increase. So number 2, carbon dioxide dissolve in blood plasma to form carbonic acid. Okay, sini carbon dioxide dissolves in blood plasma, dia jadi carbonic acid. So carbonic acid is broken down into hydrogen ion and also bicarbonate ion. Number 3, the pH values of blood and tissue fluid that flood the brain decreases. Okay, maksudnya semakin acidic, the pH value decreases. Kenapa? Because the concentrations of hydrogen ion increase. Betul? Okay. So the change in pH, number 4, detected by the central chemoreceptor in the medulla oblongata. Okay, sensory cells that are sensitive to chemicals, and also peripheral chemoreceptor in the neck. Okay, yaitu carotid body and aortic body. Sini carotid body dengan aortic body. Begitu juga dengan medulla oblongata di sini. Ini yang akan detect the change in pH. So nerve impulses triggered and sent. Ini number 5. Respiration control center and cardiovascular control center inside the medulla oblongata. Di sini adalah di mana nerve impulses itu sent. Okay, sent. Kemudian the nerve impulses sent lagi balik kepada intercostal muscle, diaphragm and cardiac muscle contract and relax quickly. So breathing rate, the heart rate and the ventilation rate increase. So this causes more carbon dioxide gas to be expelled from the lungs. So bila the carbon dioxide expelled from the lungs, partial pressure of carbon dioxide and blood pH levels go back to normal. So ini yang terjadi apabila the carbon dioxide, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide increase in our blood during vigorous activity. So dia akan bring back to normal. Ini kita panggil negative feedback. And then seterusnya adalah blood pressure regulation mechanism. So baroreceptor ataupun pressure receptor located in the aortic arch and the carotid artery. Ini ya. Di sini carotid artery, di sini aortic arch. So the carotid artery is the artery in the neck that supplies blood to the head. These receptors detect the pressure of blood flowing through them and continuously send impulses to the cardiovascular control center in the medulla oblongata to regulate blood pressure. So ini adalah blood pressure regulation. Okay, bagaimana blood pressure regulation? So remember, blood pressure dia kena sesuai. Tidak boleh terlalu rendah, tidak boleh terlalu tinggi. Here, when individual blood pressure drops from normal, example if there is a serious bleeding. Baroreceptor, okay, remember what is baroreceptor? This is pressure receptor. In the aortic arch and carotid artery are less stimulated. Ingat, less stimulated. So the cardiovascular control center in the medulla oblongata also less stimulated. So what happened? Atrial vasoconstriction occurs. Ini adalah vasoconstriction. They are narrowing. Okay. So this adds resistance to the flow of blood in the bloodstream. Stronger contractions of cardiac muscles occur, so blood pressure returns to normal ranges. So ingat, kalau dia low atau drop, vasoconstriction yang akan berlaku supaya pressure tu balik kepada normal. But when an individual blood pressure increase from normal, for example during vigorous activities, baroreceptor in the aortic arch and carotid artery are stimulated. The cardiovascular control center in the medulla oblongata is stimulated. What happened? Vasodilation occur. Ini ya, vasodilation. Dia melebar. Vasodilation, dilate lah. Okay. So this reduces the resistance of the blood flow in the bloodstream. So weak contractions of cardiac muscle occur and the blood pressure drop to normal. Okay, return to normal ranges. So di sini vasodilation yang berlaku. So ini adalah cara untuk regulate our blood pressure. Okay, so itu sahaja untuk subtopic 13.1. We will continue the next subtopic in the next video. Thank you.